everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about spasticity. This is a condition many of us have to deal with who have had strokes, spinal cord injuries, or MS. Spasticity is an involuntary, velocity-dependent muscle contracture caused by the hyperexcitability of nerves that innervate the muscles. It causes a lack of reciprocal inhibition, which is the body's ability to relax one muscle as the other is contracting. This causes tension in the body constantly. So these abnormal patterns, they're abnormal patterns of synergy, occur in flexor or extensor patterns. Commonly, the arms will go into a flexor pattern of abnormal synergy, and you'll get the legs kicking out into an extensor pattern. And this causes a lot of problems with mobility and just carrying out activities of daily living in general. So where we want to start with the upper extremities is in the shoulders. Okay, the shoulders, then the upper arm, then the forearm, and wrist, hands, and fingers. In order to get the hands open, we have to start from there. I know a lot of us want to get right to being able to use our hand, but this just is not going to be possible unless we start breaking open that chain of abnormal synergy. Okay, so we're going to get into a bunch of different exercises and stretches that we can do to accomplish this. Now, this is going to take a lot of work. I want to be upfront with that. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's going to require a lot of patience. So I just want you all to know that, and you've experienced this already in your life, I'm sure. But if we don't embrace acceptance and patience with this process, we're going to get frustrated and probably quit doing it. So it's more of a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay, we have to carry these stretches out on a daily basis and be as regular and frequent as we can with this. Now, we can journal and stuff like that. That is a very useful tool to keep us going. Okay, we can set up a journal for ourselves to document our progress. It's helpful to set up a schedule as well. So if you can get these two things together for yourself, you can not only have a pattern to stick with the schedule, documenting or not documenting, but keeping track of your exercises and when you're going to do them. But then you also can document your progress. This serves a couple purposes. Number one, you're able to look at how far you've come. Okay. Number two, it's a catharsis to write down things as you're going through such a process. So it really helps you process things and get the emotions out or whatever you have to do. So those are a couple ways that you can really assist yourself in this marathon. Okay. So remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we have to have patience with ourselves. All right. So as long as you're doing these exercises and stretches every day, you're going to see progress. All right. Now, I can't guarantee everybody's going to end up, moving their hand like I can, or, being able to raise their arm up to get something out of the cupboard. But if you do these exercises, there's a good chance that you will. All right. Now, all of us have different injuries, and that's going to affect where we're at and how far we can progress. All right. Some injuries are more severe than others. There's different age brackets. That's going to determine how much energy we're going to have to put into this. A younger person obviously is going to have a lot more energy than an older person. Somebody who was an athlete before might be able to put that mentality into their process of recovery, and that will help them. But there is just a lot of factors involved. But I'm going to do my best on this channel to help you out, to give you the tools necessary. I'm not a physical therapist, but I went through this. All right. I'm one of you all. I did it. Okay. I have a C6, C7 spinal cord injury. I recovered. I can walk now, and I can even play guitar a little bit. So that should give you a little bit of hope to what is possible here. Okay. Now I'm going to do whatever I can to help you out. All right. And I'm a licensed acupuncturist as well. So I have a lot of knowledge of the human body, of diet, nutrition, herbal medicine, and I'm going to share all of that with you. So I hope you get value out of this channel. So the first stretch I'm going to show you involves using your cane and just laying on your bed. We're going to use gravity to take the arms overhead into the flexed position to stretch out the shoulder. Now, if you have the abnormal synergy pattern where your arm is flexed in like this, it's going to be a little bit difficult to extend your arm all the way. So even if you can't do that, you're just going to take your cane and lay back and put your arms overhead and try to use the gravity to take your arms down. Now, if you can only go halfway, then that's fine. Just try to get your shoulders flexed as much as you can in this position. Ultimately, you're trying to get to the point where you can go like this and drop back and hold it there. But you're using gravity to take your arms back instead of trying to raise them overhead in a seated position. So again, if your arms are really flexed, you can take the cane and just go back as far as you can and hold it there for several minutes, for 2 minutes preferably. You can do it even longer. I hold these sometimes for about 5 minutes. And then bring it back down. Okay? This will really help get your shoulder loosened up and stretched out and help you be able to flex the shoulder to reach for things in a cupboard above your head. The next stretch we're going to do is going to involve reaching behind you. So if you're in the flex position like this and you can't really reach back that far, don't worry. Just go as far as you can. Put your fist down if you can't open the hand, and then turn your body forward and stick out your chest, and that will help the arm extend and stretch out that bicep muscle. Give it a break, give it a rest from being constantly activated. And then you can puff out your chest and move your neck around as you're in that stretch. Okay? Again, if you can't get it that far back, just go to wherever you can. Put your fist down like you're punching the bed, and then turn your body forward and bring that shoulder down. With these patterns, we want to constantly do this. We're constantly elevating that scapula and the shoulder like this. So we want to bring that down. And then again, hold that stretch. Over time, you'll be able to take your hand and open it up. You can see it's a little difficult for me still, but I'm able to get it open, get that thumb open and stretched out. And then again, you can turn your chest forward and then put the other hand back there. Now, this is where you're getting to the more advanced stage, and then you can really lean into it with your arms and bring your shoulders down. We even get to the point where you can start bridging, and this is going to be very beneficial. This is something that you probably won't be able to do if you're in the early stages of your recovery. So you can get up and bridge, and this is going to really stretch that out. So you'll really be able to stretch that bicep out, and you're working the core here as well as the glutes. All right. So those two stretches are going to be extremely beneficial for those shoulders and that constantly flexed position. It's going to open the pecs up and it's going to really loosen the shoulder, okay? All right, next we're going to do a stretch that just requires us to turn our body and lay face down. This is going to really stretch out the pecs and the anterior shoulder. You'll feel it in the bicep as well. So all you're going to do, you're sitting on the edge of your bed. You take your arm that's on the bed, which either side, okay? You take it, reach it behind you, even if you can only make a fist. And then you're going to slide it out and turn and just lay down. You're going to want that arm out to the side, and you're just going to lean into it, and you'll get a real nice stretch in the pecs and the shoulders this way. You can then take the arm into a 90-degree angle as well to really get a stretch down the lateral aspect of your humerus there. Again, take your arm out to the side, lean down, and lay it on your chest. Now, to get some more stretch out of it, you can take your other hand, push into the bed, and just try to turn out. It's really nice. Really nice. Get some good relief out of this. And you can breathe. Take deep breaths into it. Now, if you can open your hand, then reach that out and put the palm down first. But this stretch is going to really benefit you. I mean, I feel. Okay, now we're going to move on to a more advanced stretch, when the hand starts to open. Okay, now all we're doing here, again, it's a bed exercise. You're going to sit on the edge of your bed, put your hand down, and if it's to this point where it opens, but it's still hard to lay it flat, you can set your thumb and index finger down and then kind of coerce it and push it to lay flat. As long as that thumb gets open, that thumb likes to flex inward. Okay, and once it's flat, you can set the other hand down. Now, if the other hand hopefully opens much better. So once you have both hands flat on each side of you, then you want to puff out the chest and bring the shoulders down and then push your palms into the bed. Now, when you start pushing down, that's when you're going to feel that stretch go through the thenar eminence in your thumb into your palm and the forearm, and you'll feel it in the deltoid as well. Going down the lateral side of your arm, you'll feel the chest muscles, those pecs will start stretching out. So, this whole chain, okay, the whole chain of abnormal synergy that has gone on with these neurological patterns will finally get some relief and start to open up. Now, what I do is hold this for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes is what I've found has done the trick. So, again, this is all stuff that I did to help me get to greater mobility and flexibility, start relieving some of the spasticity. So just hold this as long as you can, really. Now you can tilt your head in this posture and you'll get even deeper stretch down the lateral side of your arm into your forearm. You'll even stretch those upper traps a little bit. You can do both sides. You can lean the arm down a little bit, play around, move your shoulder, start getting a little movement in the stretch. Rotate the neck a little bit. You want to be gentle with yourself, especially if you've had surgery in your neck. And there's a little variation I like to do as well. Taking the index finger and the thumb and then pressing down, opening those the thumb and the index finger up. And again, stick your chest out, drop your shoulders, and press down into the thumb. You'll really feel this in your forearms. Move around a little bit. Bring your shoulders back, bring your shoulders down, rotate them around. Get everything loosened up. Give these areas a break from this horrible spasticity that we all experience. All right. Then you can take, once you're loosened up from that, you can take your fingers and stretch those next to your legs. So take your thumbs and hook those into the pelvis. Put your fingertips next to you and then press down as you lean forward and just get a nice stretch in those fingers. You're also going to stretch the lower back. All right, again, take your thumbs, even if the thumb hooks like this, is flexed in. Place it on the hip. Then put the pads of your fingers next to you, next to your legs. Then push down and lean forward as you push down. And I can assure you this feels very good. You get a real nice stretch in those fingers. Now to stretch the flexors that go over the wrist here, what you're going to do is kind of make a fist next to your legs. Then push the back of your hand, the dorsal aspect of your hand, into the bed. Then again, push your chest out and drop your shoulders, and you'll get a nice stretch there in those extensors. Very simple. Yet for us, it's going to really feel good. I mean, even with that flexor pattern, it still feels good to stretch those extensors. So that way you're really balancing the structure out. We'll do some strengthening exercises as well. And I'll show you those in the next video. All right, now that we've gone through the shoulder and arm stretches, let's start getting into what we can do for our hands. Now, as you're going through those arm stretches, you certainly can be doing some of the finger exercises I'm going to show you now. But when you get to a certain point, especially if you're working with an occupational therapist, they'll be able to splint your hand. That's going to be a key component in opening up that hand of yours to start doing things. So you can wear this splint at night, and that gives you a good 8 hours in that position. What your occupational therapist can do is take this material they heat up and it molds to your hand so that even if your hand is only in a cupped position, that's as far as you can get it, they can mold this splint so that you can hold your hand open in that position. And then progressively, it'll get wider and wider until you're sleeping with your hand totally open, which is fantastic. You get to that point, then you can carry on to start doing some of these more advanced stretches. So, again, work with your occupational therapist on that. So, a couple things to keep in mind though. You want the splint to be rigid. Okay, so even if you're not working with an occupational therapist and you're doing this on your own, make sure that that splint is totally rigid. And the straps shouldn't be elastic. They should be Velcro straps that are stiff and hold that thing in position. So that way you're not, pulling your hand out of it. You also want the thumb of the splint to be extended. Sometimes they're like this. I've seen them like this where the thumb is a little bit flexed. You want to get that thumb to extend in the splint so your hand is wide open like that. All right, so let's get into the finger stretches now. This one's really simple. So you're just going to take your index finger to start. Okay. And what you're going to do is put the base of your palm of the other hand onto the fingers next to your index finger. So all the other fingers are basically in a fist, and you're going to push on that index finger to get it to stretch out. All right. Now I can go pretty far with this, and this can be for anybody, not just people with neurological conditions, but guitar players do this all the time. So if your finger can only extend to here, that's fine. Just try to get it as far as you can. Don't force it, but get it to the point where you're feeling a good stretch. Hold that for 2 minutes. Okay, 120 seconds. Then you want to work down the line, taking your middle finger and doing the same thing. You make a fist with the other fingers, and then you want to stretch the finger with your palm. Just work down the line. All right. Same thing with the pinky. Now, when it comes to the thumb, you're going to have to grab onto it. So just grab it, and then you're going to bend it back. Now, there's a couple different positions you can do this. So you can face your palm towards you on the affected hand, then grab onto the thumb, and then tilt it back. Put your hands down and then tilt it back. You can't see what I'm doing down here, but I'm basically doing that. But you get better leverage when you hold it down. Okay? And then just again hold that for 2 minutes. Once you've stretched all of the fingers on both hands, then you can go to the fingertips. The fingertips, a lot of times are curled in pretty bad. I know mine are, but you can take the tips and stretch those individually, and you do that by just touching the pad of your other finger and grabbing on to the whole finger, just pushing the pad of the affected finger. So you're just bracing the finger and then pushing it back. Do it with the middle finger. And again, you're making a fist with the other fingers. You're curling them in toward the palm. Go ahead and do that with every finger. You're bracing with the thumb and the middle finger of your other hand. And then you take the index finger on the pad of the affected finger and stretch it back. Hold it again for 2 minutes. All the way down the line. Same thing. Pretty simple, but very effective when you hold these stretches for a long period of time. I'm just quickly going through to demonstrate for you guys though, okay? So those simple stretches right there you'll really feel a difference after a while. Again, if your hand is really, really tensed up, just do what you can. Now, if your finger won't even open up at all, You can take the fingertip in this position and extend it back and stretch it. And just try to get it as far back as you can and stretch it. You don't want to force it though. Don't force it, but take it as far as it can go and just hold it there. It doesn't matter where your hand is in this process because in the beginning, the hands can be pretty bad. And, you're not going to be able to just open the fingers like I'm doing right now. So when you're in this position, again, take the finger as far back as it'll go and hold it. You'll have to use your thumb to do this and just bring it back. Do all the fingers the same way. All right. This is where I was in the beginning, and this is where my hand is now. So that gives you an idea of where this can go. Okay. If you got value out of this video today, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, share the video with other people so that they can get value out of it as well, and hopefully it helps them like it helped you.